welcome everyone. Good morning. Everybody got their clock set properly? That's good. Let's get started. It's 9 o'clock. We're going to stand for a prayer and a pledge of allegiance. Dear Heavenly Father, we just come today and just praise you for the beautiful sunshine and this wonderful spring day. We thank you for protecting our community from the disastrous flooding that our neighbors to the east are suffering, and we just pray, Lord, that you will enable them to get cleaned up, for the waters to recede and for them to get back to their normal lives as quickly as possible. We pray for our ongoing efforts, Lord, in cleaning up from our last bout of rains, and we just ask that cooperation with FEMA would go smoothly. We just pray for our servicemen, our servicewomen, that you would protect them at all times, wherever they might be. We pray for this agenda, that you would guide us through each item, give us wisdom to know how to act on each particular one. We turn this meeting over to you. We give you the praise and thank you for how you have blessed this community. We pray it in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, for the record, today is the 14th of March, 2016. This is our second meeting of the month. No, this is our first meeting of the month. Late one for the month. This will be our regular meeting. And our item number one is public comment, requests for information on non-agenda items. Anybody that would like to address the court at this time? Item number two, consider and possibly approve minutes. We've got 4 sets of minutes here. The first two are our 2 regular monthly meetings. The first one on the 8th of February, the second one on the 22nd. Then we had a couple of FEMA meetings, our initial meeting and then our kickoff meeting. So I'll go through these one at a time. Item number 2 is to approve minutes from our first meeting of the month of February.
Judge, I make a motion to approve the minutes February 8th.
Motion by Commissioner Hinton.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Parker. All in favor of approval, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item 3 is our second regular meeting of the month, the February 22nd meeting.
I also like to make a motion to approve those minutes.
Commissioner Hinton makes the motion. Commissioner Fields seconds it. All in favor of approval of the February 22 minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The item number 4 was our initial meeting with FEMA. We had Doyce Winchester here and several folks that participate in the FEMA process. That was not the kickoff meeting, but the initial meeting where we had the PowerPoint presentation.
I'd like to make a motion to approve those minutes also, Judge.
Motion by Commissioner Hinton.
Second.
And a second by Commissioner Parker for approval. All in favor of approving those, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And then lastly, item number 5 was our FEMA kickoff meeting here that Tom headed that meeting up. That was on March the 7th.
Make a motion, we approve those, Judge.
Motion by Commissioner Parker for approval. Second by Commissioner Fields. All in favor of approval, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item number 6, consider and possibly approve a proposed modification to the tax abatement that we had previously approved for PMCI properties and Prefert Manufacturing. So we have discussed this and approved it before, but Charlie's coming back to us and saying, sorry, we need to make a little tweak to that one. Would you explain that one to us, please, Charlie?
I'll be happy to. Thank you for the opportunity today. In short, to remind you, the county court and the city council of Mount Pleasant have a stepped tax abatement policy, and that is the more you are investing in your in our community. The more the company is investing, the longer the term of the tax abatement. This particular issue is one of just timing. In the course of October and November, we got 2 applications, and part of that is our own regulation. We want an application before the project starts. And in October, we approved the tax abatement for the company's investment of $1.7 million. And that was basically to move their, what they call their scratch and dent sales offices to the far side, and then to put their transportation, their shipping buildings over there on the far side of on the west side of the Union Pacific Railroad. So that was done and completed, and just as soon as that was done, we received an application for them to build this 42,000 square foot building on the east side, basically between their existing buildings and Highway 271. In short, all of this, the first component of this that we approved in October was to get things out of the way so that they could do the second component. So our thinking is that this is all one project and should have been treated all as one project. The October investment received a 5-year tax abatement, and the court approved that, and that was great. The November tax abatement qualified for and received a 10-year abatement. And together with the 2 projects, it all should have received the 10-year abatement. Now, that's a stepped abatement. It's the same steps as we approved on the November issue. Graduates with 4 years, then 3 years, and then 4 years. And this gives the company an advantage, but it encourages further investment.
That's 90% in a 90% abatement in 2017, 18, and 19. It then goes to 75%, so they're contributing 25%, or they're paying 25% of the burden for the next 4 years, and in the last 3, they pay 50% of the tab.
That's correct.
Okay.
That's correct. I'll be happy to answer your questions.
No. And if anybody deserves it, it's Preferred, and that's a substantial amount of money and substantial expansion of that facility. Motion by Commissioner Fields. I'll second the motion. All in favor of approving this adjustment on the modification, or excuse me, approving this modification to the tax abatement agreement to extend it out to 10 years in a stair-stepped from 90% down to 50% related to PMCI, or Preferred Manufacturing. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, Charlie, I'll get this signed and get this returned to you. Thank you. You set that aside for me. Item number 7 is to consider and possibly approve the sale of property that had been previously struck off of the tax rolls about a year ago, 3.294 acres. Let me read to you what Tim Taylor has submitted to me. I've received a bid for the purchase of the above referenced tract of land, which had been previously struck off at a delinquent tax auction back in March of 2015. The bid is for less than the amount of the judgment, which led to the sheriff's sale to the county, and also less than the listed appraised value. So again, it's less than both of those, less than what's owed, less than the appraised value. Section 34.05 of the Property Code requires consent by all taxing entities when such a sale is for less than the amount of the judgment. Therefore, before the sale can become final, if the sale is approved by your court, the consent of the other taxing entities is still necessary. Bretson Jones has offered $1,500 for this property. Again, 3.294 acres, so a little less than $500 per acre. The judgment was $5,063. The taxable value for this property is listed at $13,934. This is a landlocked tract of property, overgrown without any marketable timber. It has value only to the adjoining landowners who were notified to see if there was any interest. This was the only response I have received. I've attempted to negotiate this offer up without success. I would request the court take some kind of action on this offer, either by acceptance or rejection. If you wish to accept, please advise and I'll prepare the necessary resolutions. Don't know what else I can tell you about it, but in my conversation with Tim Taylor, it's not a real desirable piece. Again, it's landlocked. It is treed, but it's not quality timber. And of the adjoining 3 landowners, only this one stepped up and said, I'll make an offer. So $1,500 for 3.294 acres.
Well, right now, we're getting, it's nobody's paying taxes on it. You can get it back on the tax roll, and of course, if it's landlocked, people don't want it, they can't get to the property, so I make a motion, we sell this property.
I'll second it.
Motion by Commissioner Fields and a second by Commissioner Riddle to accept the offer of $1,500. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we will give Tim approval to go to the next taxing entity for their approval. Item number 8 is consider and possibly approve a resolution supporting the types of information to be included in the Northeast Texas Regional Mobility Authority Strategic Plan. We don't talk about the NET RMA or the Northeast Texas Regional Mobility Authority very much. This is an entity that consists of a number of people on the board from surrounding counties, mostly to the south of us, as far south as Tyler, and they have predominantly been working on the completion of the 49 loop down in Tyler, but they are working on a strategic plan, and they're not asking us to tell them what to put in this plan. In fact, they are giving us a resolution that says these are the kind of things that we want to be focusing on. And let me just kind of hit the high points of this resolution and tell you who some of the participating entities are. This, and by the way, back in June of 2004 was when this entity began. It consists of Gregg and Smith County. Let's see, in 2006, the commission authorized the expansion to include Cherokee, Harrison, Rusk, and Upshur County. In 2007, it expanded the NET RMA by adding Bowie, Cass, Panola, Titus, Van Zant, and Wood. In 2013, the commission approved the withdrawal of Cass County and also the addition of Kaufman County. Since its creation, NET RMA has pursued the development of its initial project, Toll 49, which has been active in facilitating planning of the regional mobility improvements throughout this area. They wish to put together a strategic plan expected to occur over the next 5 fiscal years. Section 370.261 of the Transportation Code provides that a majority of the commissioners' courts of the counties are required to determine the types of information required to be in the strategic plan. A committee of the NET RMA Board of Directors has proposed types of information to be included, a description of which is attached. And these are the 5 items that they would like to focus on. Internal activities of the NET RMA related to planning and project development, efforts to advance future segments of Toll 49, potential regional partnerships to develop future transportation projects, status of current NET RMA toll facilities, and overview of partnerships with other RMAs, local toll project entities, and industry experts. So those are the 5 main points that they have identified to include in this strategic plan that they will begin. And they want our approval to say, yes, we agree that those 5 items are noteworthy. In our next agenda item, we're going to talk about something that may specifically affect Titus County, but generally speaking, they would like your approval to include these 5 items in their strategic plan. Hudson Old is our representative on the net RMA. If you want to look at that. The net RMA meetings are always open if any of you would ever like to attend one of these. So again, let's approve, disapprove, or table this.
You know, we're in a situation where we need to be involved to help determine things that's going to help Northeast Texas. And I don't see anything in there that would hurt us, and we do have representatives on this board, so I'll make that motion.
Motion by Commissioner Fields to approve these items to be included in the net RMA strategic plan. I'll second that motion. All in favor of approval of this resolution, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I'll sign that a little later. All right. Again, on the subject of net RMA, this is item number 9. Consider and possibly submit a local transportation project to net RMA for possible funding. And before we get too excited about a large sum of money being made available to us by net RMA, it's my understanding from Hudson Old, I don't remember, this is either a $200,000 or a $300,000, I believe it's $200,000 to go towards a local transportation project. So that's fairly open-ended. Let me read this letter to you. This is from Everett Owen, the interim executive director. If you'll recall from our annual report, we are actively pursuing transportation projects from our member counties. And I mentioned to you who some of those were, quite a few member counties. Our priority projects will receive political and technical support, with some receiving the annual funding award. There is a specific process that the net RMA is utilizing to determine which projects will receive funds. The deadline to submit your application is April 15. If you have any questions, please call us to set up a time to discuss your questions with staff or committee members. Monies will be awarded no later than the end of fiscal 2016 or September 30th. Counties that are awarded monies will be responsible for sending paperwork to RMA when monies are spent and will make reports to the board as directed. There are a list of questions that they ask that will help them to evaluate who gets money, describe the project, reason it's needed, what are the benefits. Is it a transportation project? Does it have regional significance? What local financial support is available? What state and or federal support is available? What economic development activities will this promote? What's the current status of the project's development? Mike, would you like to speak to this, or are you just listening?
I was just here listening.
Well,
Judge, I can think of 2 things that we need to look at in the future that will help in development, and I think the city needs to look at it too. But on the east side of the interstate, from the Harts Bluff Road over, a service road there would be needed, and I think would encourage people to develop it out in that area, because we do not have a service road. And you're not talking about a long stretch. You do have a major creek there you need to cross. Then another thing, and I've talked to some about it, just a little bit, but out here where 67 goes under the interstate, we can put a half diamond instead of a full diamond. Traffic coming from the west can turn on 67, and then you can come up to Ferguson Road and take what they call a free right yield, and that would take a lot of trucks out of those first two intersections, 67 and coming off the interstate, which would help the travel and help get trucks out of those two intersections, those especially going south on 271 coming from the west. So, you know, I think there's some things there we can do and be very beneficial for our county and our city. These are just some things I'm looking at, but if you don't ever plan, you won't ever get it done. And good examples of that, the loop projects have started in '95 and they're finally finished. But you have to look ahead and you have to be planning for the future.
Well,
that's just some things.
Yeah, those are all good ideas. I'm afraid that due to the size of this particular award, perhaps we should focus in on something that's a smaller scale that might be realized in the near future. You know, if we were to request something like that, you know, both of those may be years away until it's completed, and how they would view that, I don't know that they want to just hand us money that's going to be set aside in a bank account until the project can come to fruition. So that's one thing to keep in mind. What project might this, if the county were to work with something that would be beneficial to county and city, what's the status of your continued expansion of that northern loop route from Harts Bluff over to, from Green Hill Road over to the water tower?
I had that project in mind, was trying to figure out if it fits. I don't know that it fits at all, since it's entirely a local road. It'd be nice if it did. We're actually doing the final engineering right now for phase 2, which goes from Jefferson to Green Hill. Actually, hope about the Lakes and Regular summer.
Okay.
And money would be nice, but I just don't know that it fits that criteria.
Really just have to.
May not. Any other ideas on projects? I mean, we continue to wait on the expansion of the Chapel Hill Road, the green carpet route out north of town. I mean, we've got several wishes that are on the horizon with TxDOT, but I'm not sure that any of them are imminent. So that's why I thought about that one, because it's imminent, and
It's totally off system road, though, so it's concerned me, which criteria you just read, there's no, it's not involved in it, or state or federal involved in it. That's not, that's what they're shooting for.
maybe not. We
I
could
suggest you talk to TxDOT and see if that flows into some of their planning or design, maybe for those projects.
Okay. Anybody else have an idea on how we might?
Are we talking about the $200,000 from?
It doesn't state that. That's just what Hudson has told me.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's an annual amount. I don't know if that's a total amount. I just don't know how ready these guys are to give out money other than that 49 project. But it can't hurt to give them a particular project that we would like to see them assist us with. And the ones that Mike mentioned are certainly valuable. Yes, ma'am. Would you come up to the mic, please?
Okay. The intersection that bothers me the most in Titus is the left-hand turn going off of 49 onto Jefferson. Have I made myself clear to where that is? You're going in front of Super One, yes. That's I've never seen an intersection like that, but I've been at that intersection, and it's very difficult to see cars coming from the west on 49. It's a very difficult intersection. I've probably seen 5 accidents there. So I just want to suggest that one still needs some work done on it. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Anyone else? Well, again, this is something that needs to be submitted by April 15. We did take a big bite out of our right-of-way fund that's available for the Chapel Hill Road project. We could replenish that. We will definitely need some additional funds for utility relocation and for right-of-way purchase. We used quite a bit of that we had set aside on the Harts Bluff Road project. I don't know how close we are to getting that Chapel Hill Road expanded. It is still on TxDOT's radar. If y'all want to think about this and bring it back up at the next meeting, we can do that. We've got a couple of more meetings before the April 15th deadline.
Don't we have, we sold bonds to widen that road, but there's not enough money in it, right?
We don't know.
We don't know.
We won't know until we actually
Start.
Yeah, like,
get the project, we find out how much it's going to cost to move those utilities. That's what we ran into on the Park Club part. We didn't know, or they didn't know how much it's going to cost to move those utilities until they actually started the project. So, yeah, maybe we have enough, but there's no way of knowing.
I make a motion we table this. Give
Okay.
us a little more thought.
All right, I'll put that on the next meeting. We can revisit that again, but please be thinking about, we don't want to just ignore this, and you won't get anything if we don't ask. All right, motion by Commissioner Hinton to table this.
I'll second that, yes.
Second by Commissioner Parker. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Item number 10 is to consider and possibly approve an order to permit the sale of fireworks for additional dates as per the new occupations code. We've got an upcoming opportunity here, and basically the people that are supportive of this are those that are in the fireworks business that would like to be able to sell fireworks on additional days, and of course those that like to use fireworks more than just July 4th and New Year's. So the upcoming date that is under consideration, you have a list of any of those? Is there anything besides San Jacinto Day is one in particular, and there are, and you had a question, Texas Independence Day, we've already passed by that, but we can approve that for the future, in the future. And then San Jacinto Day, what's the actual day this year? Does it state that on there?
April 21st.
Well, let me just tell you when the fireworks sales would be approved for. If we do Texas Independence Day, if we had done that this year, it would have been February 25th and ending on March 2nd. So roughly a 5-day period in there prior to Texas Independence Day. Same thing with San Jacinto Day. For this year, we could approve allowing the sale of fireworks April 16th and ending at midnight on the 21st. And then lastly would be Memorial Day, beginning the Wednesday before the last Monday in May and ending at midnight on the last Monday in May, or on the day of Memorial Day itself. So we have the ability, but we need to take action as a court on which ones of these we would like to approve. This,
Judge, I have stands in the Winfield area, and I have stands also south of town, and the people that owns that contacted me about putting these on. We have to pass it in court. The one thing I want to stipulate is that the Texas Forest Service tells us it's dry, it's a tinderbox out there, that we don't need to be doing fireworks, that we have the chance to rescind that from selling or having fireworks that day for that particular period of time. If that happens, if the Texas Forest Service says it's a powder keg out there, we don't know, no burning, no fireworks, no anything, I'd still like to reserve that in there in case that does happen. If not, then those days they would be allowed to sell fireworks. And I'll make that into a motion.
which one do you want to approve? All three of these, or just the upcoming San Jacinto Day?
All three of them. Texas Forest Service tells us it's a powder keg, we don't need to
Why do-
fireworks, or or the county and the city bans burning, then there's no sale. We reserve the rights to limit that.
What about the fire department? They should be involved in this. We're spending extra money, and it's going to create a fire hazard, even if the forest. Why can't we do those? I don't know. I'm not for a blanket thing. Why couldn't we do them on individual days if they come up and I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
that's lots of opportunity. I mean, in April, theoretically, you're not into the dry season, maybe in March as well. You get down there towards the end of May. I don't believe that any of these hold the hazard that July 4th does, but that's a lot of time frame to sell fireworks. I guess if I was in that business, I would want every opportunity that I could get, but at this time, we could approve just one of these and wait and see how it goes, but we would want to approve the San Jacinto Day now. Commissioner Fields has a motion on the floor to approve all three of these, which for this year would affect San Jacinto Day in mid-April and Memorial Day, and then it would not affect Texas Independence until next year. So that's the motion on the floor.
Let me say this, Mr. Reynolds brought this up. Larry Ray is the person that checks with the Texas Forest Service. If they come in and say, we've got a powder keg here, we just don't need any, we need to ban the burning of trash or fireworks, there's danger here, then that would supersede this order. We put a ban on. If Larry comes up and tells us we need to put a ban on, we can, and that stops the sales of that. We still reserve the rights to put a ban on if we need to. That's all I'm saying there. And then if it's the weather's situation, and we can check with Larry. Larry can tell us, yeah, it's okay to do this, or no, we've got a problem here. That's all I'm saying.
Either way, we do have a motion on the floor.
If people that have these stands and stuff that pay taxes too, and the city and the county benefits from this.
We have a motion on the floor, and I need a second. If not, we need to reconsider or reword it or revise it. Okay, don't have a second apparently. Anybody else want to consider an alternative?
Well, but I'll make a second that we don't approve these days. I realize there's tax dollars and it may be involved, but they're cash sales, they're out of the county, most of them, and it's just a hazardous. I don't think that people get hurt with them. I make a motion we don't approve any additional days in the state.
Okay, Commissioner Riddles makes a motion that we do not approve any of the three of these dates. Anyone want to second that? Am I getting warm? What if you approved San Jacinto Day for now?
Make that motion.
Motion by Commissioner Fields to approve San Jacinto Day. Now, it doesn't mean we couldn't come back and approve these other dates at a later time, but for now, the motion is to approve San Jacinto Day, and that will be a period beginning April 16 and ending on the 21st.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Hinton. All in favor of approving the sale of fireworks for the San Jacinto Day holidays, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Opposed?
Okay, that'll be a 4-to-1 vote.
Unusual.
And I have not had a discussion with Chief McRae about that, but I will talk to him and get his feelings on that. Normally, on items that are important to him, he would have already expressed his opinion, but we have not talked about that subject. Item number 11 is approve the recording in the minutes of the county clerk's minutes the district judge's appointment of County Auditor Carl Johnson. And again, we're not approving that appointment. That appointment has already been made. We are simply approving the recording of that decision in the clerk's minutes.
Make that motion.
Motion by Commissioner Fields. Second by Commissioner Riddle. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And to go along with that, consider and possibly approve Carl's bond in that position as county auditor. How much is that bond? And I've got that bond here ready for signature. Should you approve it?
Make a motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Hinton.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Riddle. All in favor of approval of Carl's bond, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Item number, no opposed. Item number 13, consider and possibly take action on use of the WIT building. We've approved the remodel of the exterior only of the WIT building, including some additional items on the side to include reworking the windows and the addition of a handicap ramp. And we'll have a good bit of money in this corner building, which is one of the, if not the prime corner on the downtown square. I would like for us to begin soliciting ideas and generating some interest to give us direction on how we're going to use that. Do we use it for internal operations? Do we lease it out? What do we do? So this is the first time that I've asked you for some input here. We're not under any rush. It's going to be a while before we complete that, but you have a very attractive corner there. We're in the midst of a downtown resurgence of interest, a variety of things that are going on, a variety of improvements going on, some new businesses, some of which we know about, some of which I don't think have been announced yet. But I will tell you my personal opinion. I think that this would be a great corner to put something there that would enhance the downtown area, that would encourage folks to come to the downtown area, perhaps in the evenings, perhaps on the weekends. And we don't do that when we put 9 to 5, Monday through Friday offices in there. That would preclude a use by county offices in the way that I'm describing it, and would instead more than likely include a lease, possibly a long-term lease, to a retail venture, for example. But not necessarily a retail venture. I guess there's any number of things that could go there. But again, that would be just my personal opinion and my personal wishes. But if we're going to get something done, we need to solicit input from the general public. Perhaps we need to get a realtor involved. Perhaps we need to get the Main Street Committee involved. And I have with us Jacob. I know you said you didn't intend to speak. Do you wish to address this item? Or Mike, either one. You know, this is county property, but we're smack dab in the middle of the city. This would be a great opportunity to work with you. Kind of give us an update. What's going on in the downtown area? Kind of give us a summary. You're more in the know than anybody.
Right. This summer we'll have some rehab with all the 4 intersections and corners. Tech Dot's coming through, doing a resurface. We're also going to go ahead and do Second Street at that time.
When you say resurface,
resurface as far as giving new asphalt.
Okay, on the road itself?
Yes, sir.
All right.
There's several buildings that's going over rehab, and like you said earlier, there'll be some announcements of some new businesses that's coming in. This corner, we've discussed it in Main Street, but had a little bit of interest on Facebook. It would be nice to have something that was a retail space, something that is used sometimes after hours. We're looking to see having more of a nightlife. Of course, with Joe's opening up, you start seeing people downtown after 5. A long time ago, many years, this town is shut down at 5 after everybody leaves their offices. That's not happening anymore. It's starting to have a little bit of nightlife. All 4 blocks basically have had some rehabs going on to them. Of course, you guys building, this building at the end would kind of if it was not used for office space or something to that sort, it would be able to be used maybe after hours, and something that would have all 4 blocks and all 4 corners with the use of a nighttime nightlife. So,
Anything in particular come up just to give us an idea of what some ideas are that are out there?
We've bounced over, and I know you have a coffee shop, but of course that's already taken care of. Our committee could look and see. We've kind of solicited uses for that after reading the article in the paper, and that's something that we can help try to find. But of course, that's one of those things that if, you know, it is a governmental building. If it's something that you guys want to lease out, we'll help you find a use for that. I've got people constantly looking for space in our downtown. You know, we hardly ever have buildings that are open and available and vacant enough to be able to place something that we need. Main Street is all about trying to find those pieces that fit into the puzzle to make all of it work, kind of like the mall concept. And so this would be a good opportunity for that. So we're willing to help with that and get you guys opportunity, if that's what you were willing to do, is lease the space out to something and not use it for office building. But either way, as long as it's fixed up and it's used, we've been going on 2 years, maybe 2 years now, with just a blank space. That is a very highly visible area, and just the opportunity to have that up and available and working again would be great.
Without naming names or locations, I understand there's at least 1, possibly 2 restaurants coming to the downtown area. Is that right? Is it 1 or 2?
2, from what I understand it. One in the near future, and the other one possibly later after that.
Okay. Have they made a determination on this one that's undergoing restoration right now next to
Not yet.
Hamilton's?
They're still, that's 2 loft spaces in the top part. It's, you know, it's a slow process, but they're highly detailed when they do it, so it'll be a nice building once it's complete.
Do you have any suggestions on what the court might do as far as soliciting input? How we would go? Would we involve a realtor, involve your committee?
If you're continuing to go with that direction, then we can help you out with that. Of course, we have realtors that is on the Main Street board that's willing to help out with that. We all kind of work together. We're willing to do that.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Judge?
Yes, Judy?
I just have a question. When all of this remodeling began, it was all, I thought, I understood, it was all about us needing another courtroom for the judges, a bigger courtroom. And then we needed security for the probation department. It seems like, I mean, we've spent all this money, we're making everything look nice, but the original request, I thought, it started the whole ball rolling, was that the judges needed another courtroom. And somehow, I mean, the baby got thrown out with the bathwater. I mean, I don't know what happened there, but don't they still have that need? And why are we ignoring it? I don't understand.
You're absolutely right, and nothing has changed there, but it just hasn't been the right climate to begin that project. I believe that before the year is out, it will be time to revisit that. That particular corner was never a part of that plan. If you'll think about it, you've got a full separation between the new courtroom potential space and that corner. You've got adult probation now that runs through all the way. So utilizing that corner for something, say, for retail space would have no impact on the original plan of the expansion of the judges' offices, the DA's office, or the addition of a new courtroom.
Okay, I just didn't know if we had somebody in there, if that would make them not have enough space for what they needed.
No, that would not be an impact on it. But nonetheless, that is now a county district court building, essentially, and that was the objective, and that's still the objective. However, that 1,200 square foot corner is a bit unique in that unless we were to, we can certainly use it for courtroom purposes, offices for attorneys, offices for internal departments. That is certainly not off the table, and we're not in any rush to make a decision here, and I would not want to make any kind of permanent commitment on that corner because things do change. If I might make a suggestion, I'm not going to make a motion, perhaps we would turn this over to the Main Street Committee, and maybe they could give us some insight as to a course of action that we might take to solicit ideas for use. Or if you want to just sit and see what the future holds,
Well,
we can do that.
I think we definitely need to look at it. Of course, the basic need is for if we need it for the county, that should be first. If we have, and you're going to have some areas that you're not going to be able to use right at first because we have bought the rest of that building there. An example of this is the Ratliff building. We bought that. There was renters in there at that time, and one of them was Senator Ratliff. And if you go back and look at it, I think basically it ended up basically paying for itself and rent and stuff like this. And you can see where we have used that today for the betterment of the county. And we've got our election administration office down there, and we've got our tax office, and we've got our license plate office, and that's for the future growth. 30 years ago, there were 16,000 people in Titus County. Now there's close to 34,000 people in Titus County. We're going to continue to grow by leaps and bounds. I could see it. Y'all remember back 40 years ago, Longview put an outside loop out there, and there was nothing out there. And now it's just covered up. You're going to see the same type of growth in Titus County. And at some point in time, we will need that for county use and stuff. But I like the idea of the Main Street program getting involved in it and kind of helping us with it, how to develop. There may be something here in the courthouse or something that we hadn't really looked at just yet that we could put in there. Also, and I need to visit with the sheriff and different people like that, and people in the courthouse. But there would be a area for people to go and work out, help our health plan and stuff like this. This is a positive thing. If you have healthy people, you continue to your hospital care and stuff like this. It pays for itself. So there's a lot of different things we can look at, Judge. I just think we need to look at it and decide which way we want to go.
Well, let me ask this. Do any of you feel strongly that that should not be anything but a county office? I mean, if that's your feeling, there's no point in turning this over to the Main Street Committee.
Right now, Judge, I could look. I just need to talk with the different officials, visit with them, see what their ideals are. But if we have the room and we don't need it, let's benefit some way from it where it will help.
Anybody else have a comment or input? And again, just because we turn this over to Main Street and they come up with an idea doesn't mean that we're committed to doing that. Kay?
I think that corner has the potential of making that whole square a retail and restaurant hub of the city. And I don't think we should use it for county. We've got plenty of rooms for that. But it's on a corner right where it takes up two roads, so to speak, so everybody's going to be able to see that corner. It's a good location. I think a restaurant would be fun. Again, I don't know if alcohol passed to Mount Pleasant or not, but that wouldn't hurt.
Steve?
Yes, Your Honor, just for information purposes, in case the majority of the members of the commission aren't aware, the Historical Commission and myself as chair do sit on Main Street Board as an ex officio member, so we do have input with Main Street, work with Main Street regularly, so that communication process is there, and certainly we would work with Jacob and Main Street and the city of Mount Pleasant on anything that the commission would like to do.
Okay, thank you, Steve. Well, then I'm going to, in the absence of anything else, I'm going to ask that maybe somebody recommend a motion that we write a letter to the Main Street Committee and just simply say, we're soliciting your help in getting some ideas for the use of this building. Very, very open-ended.
Need a motion for that?
He just made one.
Okay, I'll second.
Motion and a second by Commissioner Fields and Commissioner Hinton. I will write a letter to the Main Street Committee, simply express that we would like some suggestions from the committee, from the city, from the general public as to highest and best use of that building once it is remodeled, 1,200 square feet. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, thank you. Item number 14, consider and possibly approve painting the brick on the new planter on the east side of the Ratliff building. I've gotten several comments from folks saying that they think it would be a better look if that planter that's on the east side, the new planter, east side of the Ratliff building, were painted to match the Ratliff building rather than the current natural red brick, which is a nice match for the sidewalk itself, and I think that was the original idea, but even I think that it would be a better look to have it painted a different color rather than the red brick. So that's an additional expense there, purely aesthetic. And again, I'm just responding to some comments, particularly members of the Main Street Committee thought that it would be a more attractive look.
Judge, it really don't make any difference either way. One thing I do know, that planter was put there, and one thing it has helped with, when you have people go in and get their tags or go to the election administration office or people to pay their taxes, is they have little ones with them. And that one thing that planter does, it stops the little ones from going out towards the road. And I like that a lot, because I've seen kids come out of there, and if that planter hadn't been there, they may be right out in the middle of the road. As far as the bricks being painted, I can live with it or leave it alone. It doesn't make me any difference on that. But if it's, I do know Jacob, in the paper when I got a chance to talk with him, he commented most visible building in Titus County, I guess, is that corner building, and it just helps the downtown area.
Are we talking about the corner or the Ratliff building?
I'm talking about the Ratliff building, but I'm talking about the corner there. I'm just saying, people come up suggesting, and they like the looks of it, this or that. I really don't care if the brick stays red or if it's painted the color of the building. That's not a big deal to me, but I think it is something we need to listen to when people tell us, they give us suggestions what to do. Because I know I've had 20, 25 people tell me that how much they appreciate us looking at that corner building and getting it up to where it looks nice.
We're back on the paint job for the bricks. Just along that same line, talking about a safety barrier for kids, we are keeping that west end door locked, trying to prevent incoming traffic from that old entrance over there. I think that we need to go with some kind of a panic bar so that the door is not locked for those wanting to leave that. So I'll probably put that on an upcoming agenda, but we are encouraging entrance from the east side now. So again.
Make a motion, we paint the brick.
Okay, thank you. Motion by Commissioner Hinton that we paint the brick on the planter, and how about along with that we solicit some input from the experts on the Main Street Committee for the color selection. All right, there's a motion. Second by Commissioner Parker. All in favor of approval of painting the new planter a suitable color with help in determining that color from the Main Street Committee, say aye. Say aye. Aye. Okay, I've got one. I have one here. Two. I have three. Okay. Opposed? Four. Aye, okay. It's unanimous. All right. Did I ask it wrong? Okay. Jacob, how would you like me to proceed with that?
I can give you some color options.
You've got two distinct colors over there. You've got the trim work over there and that lighter beige, and then you've got the actual brick itself, which is natural color brick. Matching that would require a good eye and maybe some test paint on that.
We've got a historic color palette, plus we can match up with what's currently on the trim.
Do you think matching the trim would be the way to go, or match the brick would be the way to go?
I don't think that you can match the brick as much as you could the trim. Either way, we'll give you some options.
And maybe we could put some on there and see what people think? Okay. All right, thank you. Item 15 is consider and possibly approve the county's payment of approximately a $2,200 performance. This was supposed to be a payment bond. I put the wrong word on there, a payment bond. Let me explain what's going on here. According to the law, depending upon the size of the project, both a performance and payment bond may need to exist on a given project. Was it $100,000, Commissioner Riddle, that required the performance bond? We're below that threshold on the project here on the corner building. A performance bond would ensure that the contractor completed the work, in other words, performed everything that was a part of that project. A payment bond is a guarantee or an insurance policy that guarantees that all of the subs working for the general contractor would be compensated. And the project was large enough to where it does kick in the necessity for that payment bond. And that was not part of Richard's original proposal, and so we are asking him to provide that. He has said that he can provide that bond through his insurance company, and it's somewhere shy of $2,200. So that would give us the necessary guarantee that we need to ensure that Richard pays his subs. Richard certainly has a good record of doing that, but nonetheless, I believe that we are required to do that on this project. And since we did not include that in the mandatory requirements of that project, I believe it's appropriate that the county would pay for this, as Richard did not have that allowance in there.
Well, I'll make a motion, we pay for it.
Motion by Commissioner Riddle for the county to pay for Richard Jones' payment bond, and second by Commissioner Fields. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Item number 16, consider and possibly take action on a proposal from the Titus County Historical Commission regarding a proposed flag for Titus County, which, as you'll recall, Steve Austin showed us a proposed new pretty blue flag at our last meeting. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Again, this is a follow-up to the initial presentation made at last week's meeting. The proposal of the flag is primarily to generate a fundraising aspect. Sale of the flags would go to first paper, the production of the flags, and then to use for issues and activities of the Titus County Historical Commission. This would relieve the county from having to fund some of the projects and activities that we undertake, such as possibly fees for markers, other activities that we performed in the past. The design, of course, comes from portions of the current Texas flag. It's independent of other entities within the county, shows its own identity. One of the questions that was asked when it was first reviewed, well, why is Fort Sherman the only town on there? Actually, it's for that purpose that we designed the flag, is to create interest in our history. Fort Sherman being the first location of settlers or homesteaders in this area, but it was the first defensive port that was built in 1838. And one of the significance about it, Fort Sherman, name comes from one of the individuals, Lieutenant Colonel Sidney Sherman, who is credited with giving credit for originating the motto, "Remember the Alamo." So it does have its merit in history, and designates some of the things about Titus County. Of course, to reflect the reference of the name Titus, of course, goes with Andrew Jackson Titus, and one of his individual efforts that gave him notoriety was that he developed roads, and that's one of the things that the commission itself does, help us with their roads. The points of the star can indicate 271 north and south, and 67 east west, as well as 49. The facets, where the facets come together, representative of where the courthouse location is, and the star itself representative of Mount Pleasant within the county. The colors reflect integrity and loyalty, and I think those are qualities endowed by Titus County. But again, it's to give the county its own identity and to be registered with the state as one of the counties that has its own identity, has its own flag. No motto or anthem or allegiance is solicited or requested for this flag. Merely a symbol to perpetuate and promote tourism and economics within this area. Since it's been on display, I've had a number of positive comments. A lot of folks didn't know we didn't have a flag. They'd never seen one, and just never had thought about it. And there are about 100 or so counties within the state of Texas that do have their own identity, a number that don't. And they range, believe me, there are all types of banners that you can identify with the county. But I thought this was poignant to our own unique history and our own unique design.
And this, you're simply asking the court to approve the design of the flag, any funding that you're asking for on behalf of the county?
No, sir, I'm not requesting any funding, merely the approval of the flag to represent the county and its entities. Funding, up to this point, Zippity Doodah is the group that provided the prototype flag. It's an adhesive type, but the flags that will be available for production will be printed. And the cost of which is going to be around $15 or less per flag. Sell.
How big is that?
3 by 5.
That's the actual size of the one you're going to be able to buy for $15?
Yeah, that's what to the general public is going to be $35.
Yeah, I was going to say that's pretty cheap.
It goes to the production cost from the purchase of the original flag blank to the printing cost, drives it to about $12 per flag to produce. So,
including the flag and the printing?
Yes.
It's only $12?
Yes.
Wow, that's good.
We've spoken with our new friends across the street here from Printworks out of Paris, and they've got their new location here, and they've endeavored to join with us and produce this flag if approved by the county.
And that's the actual blue, that navy there, as opposed to this lighter blue that's on our...
The only thing different about that flag is you can see in relative to your printout the word Titus. The U is at the bottom of the current flag. I propose that it be rotated some. The U would be where the second T is. All the other letters are right side up, and when you get to the bottom of the stair, the U is inverted relative to the position of the others. If you turn the U over, then it looks like an N, so it's a little bit confusing. So in the printout, we've rotated the lettering somewhat so that the S winds up on the bottom, so it makes it more identifiable, easier to read.
Well, Steve, you put a lot of thought into this. I know it's simple, it's attractive.
In this, looking at 1846, this does include Franklin County and Morris County, the original Titus County.
Right. The date, however, is reflective when Titus County was originated and created, giving it our own identity. And you'll notice that the county silhouette is the same whether the silhouette basically is the same whether or not Franklin or Morris County are still there, because it only cut off straight sides. If you look at the Veterans Monument, there's a silhouette of Titus County in its proper location on the state of Texas marker out there where the Veterans marker is. So it's to carry that theme forward.
All right. What would you like to do? Would you like to give Steve the blessing to produce some of these flags?
Is this what the Titus County Historical Commission stuff, this is what you are recommending to do?
Yes.
Okay, I'll make that motion.
Could we, go ahead. No, could we, the county, of course, should Mount Pleasant have a flag, or the city of Mount Pleasant? Shouldn't we get some of these cities involved in this thing?
Mount Pleasant does have a flag.
Talco, of course, I'm from Sugar Hill. I'd rather have Sugar Hill on there than Fort Sherman.
So we custom make one for you.
That's the purpose of the flag, is to generate curiosity so that we can bring our history forward. Fort Sherman is referenced for the mere fact that it's tied to not only the origins of the state, but the origins of the county, and was the first fortified settlement within Titus County. Certainly Sugar Hill had its own claim to fame, and we don't begrudge any
It's a
community.
fortified settlement.
Pardon me?
It's fortified settlement.
And the citizenry of Sugar Hill makes it that way.
That's it.
Well, I do have a motion on the floor. Commissioner Fields has made a motion that we approve this design. Second by Commissioner Hinton. All in favor of approving the design of a Titus County flag as presented here today, with the change to that actual flag up there of rotating the word Titus back one more notch to the left counterclockwise. Say aye. Opposed? Steve, thank you. I look forward to seeing some finished products there.
I'll have those available fairly quickly, and general sales would be available. And the funds received would be first paid off the flag production, and then deposited with the Titus County Treasurer. And then the Historical Commission would make the formal request to the auditor and the Commission's Court anytime there were expenditures.
Okay. Item number 17, consider and possibly authorize CBG Surveying, Inc. out of Sulphur Springs to complete the surveying and the right-of-way corrections related to FM 2348 as part of our loop project at a cost of $1,730. CBG, you may remember, is Conley and Associates. That is the same group. Justin Kleem runs that office out of Sulphur Springs. Pate talked to both the original surveyors and talked to CBG. We were real pleased with that CBG quote of $1,730. Pate has already delivered the markers to my office, so they are there and ready for CBG to begin and place those where those markers are missing. And as you'll recall, this is an agreed upon solution between TxDOT, PTP, and the county on how to get the final details of our loop project completed. We've received, as of last week, notes from TxDOT as to corrections needed on 271, and so PTP is submitting that also to CBG to see if they could give us a price on doing this same kind of detail work for 271. But all we're ready to authorize right now is for CBG to begin work and complete placement of all the markers and rods on 2348, $1,730.
Make a motion.
Motion by Commissioner Hinton. Second by Commissioner Parker. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Item number 18, travel and seminars. Got quite a few here. I'll try to group them by department. This first batch is for the county clerk's office. We would like to send Paula Herndon, Kendra Gray, Joyce Simpson, Geraldine Lum, and Joan Newman to... Joan, does this include you or not? I don't.
Well, the last.
Had we already done yours? I accidentally.
Not include the other ones, they just talked about.
Well, I was looking at yours, and that's for Corpus Christi, so it's really just those first four. Paula, Kendra, Joyce, and Geraldine go to the Hopkins County Civic Center. March 23rd is the day of that training. This will be County and District Clerk Region 6 Spring Meeting. A one-day deal, $30 registration per person. They will all carpool, so all but one, the total cost will be $30, and then one will be the cost we've already previously approved for Joan, who will drive. That is the first batch. The next one, also related to the county clerk's office, Joan would like to attend a county and district clerk's state conference in Corpus Christi, June 19, 20, 21, 22, and 23. $200 registration, 5.5 days of meal allowance per diem, $799 worth of hotel for that stay. Take a personal vehicle, 484 miles one way. Total cost $1,741.97. Any source of reimbursement on something like that?
They usually do.
About how much would that be? $750, something like that? Okay, maybe potentially as much as half of that coming back. Talco Fire Department would like to send Eli Hale, firefighter, to TEEX Annual Spring School in College Station, March 6th through 11th, $625. That's the registration, which is covered by a grant. Meals, $20 per day times 6 days. Hotel, $561. Taking a personal vehicle. Per Nathan Carroll, Eli will use the department credit card for hotel and meals and will turn in receipts after returning for reimbursement. He's only requesting the mileage before he leaves, but that brings that total cost to $947.57. And that is to send Eli Hale to firefighter annual spring school in College Station. That'll be going on, again, going on the credit card for all of this stuff, and he's just asking for the mileage now. Next is County Attorney John Mark Coburn is asking to go to Civil Law Seminar in Austin, May 11, 12, and 13th, leaving on the 10th, $175 registration, $160 worth of per diem, and taking a personal vehicle. He's not including his mileage, is utilizing his travel allowance for that. Hotel, $359.62. These next two are mine for upcoming 2016 spring judicial session at the end of March 30th. 31st and April 2nd. Travel on the day before, $125 registration. Cost of meals as much as $140, but they will provide some meals for us, I believe, which will reduce that. Total hotel, $301.71. I've gotten flight with Southwest for round trip $258, which will be cheaper than the per diem, even with a rent car of approximately $120, bringing the total to about $945. The majority of this will be reimbursed by Texas Association of Counties. I believe up to $750 will be reimbursed by TAC. They're giving us an allowance to go to both this spring judicial session as well as Probate Academy, which is my next request in May, 11, 12, and 13th. $125 registration, $140 per diem, $362 hotel, flight $220.46, rent car $120, total cost $967.71, and again, I believe a $750 allowance by TAC on that. Carolyn Norman, my assistant, this will be the first time she's gone to this since 2000, and when did you go, in 2011? Well, that was 5 years ago. I would like to send her back to County Court Assistance Training Conference in San Antonio, April 13, 14, 15. Travel on the 12th, $125 registration, hotel $420, taking a personal vehicle, bringing total costs to $1,086.50. That is all.
Make a motion to approve travel.
Motion by Commissioner Hinton, second by Commissioner Parker. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Item number 19, approve oral and written reports.
Commissioner Ritter was asking about that line of way on that Chapel Hill Road. We look at page 2, 75, there's $3,467,000.
We used how much of that for the Harts Bluff? About 600,000, I think.
That's a lot longer stretch. That's going to be like,
Yeah.
it's going to go over to 49 to the school.
But when we figured this, we didn't have the intersection of 4,000 and 1735. So
Yeah, that'll definitely help.
that'll definitely help.
Make a motion to approve reports.
Motion by Commissioner Hinton for approval.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Parker. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item number 20, consider and possibly approve treasurer's report. Thank you. You got my one to sign, Cheryl? Oh, there it is on the back. I got it. Threw me off.
Make a motion to approve treasurer's report.
Motion by Commissioner Hinton for approval.
I guess.
Did you say second by Commissioner Fields? All in favor, say aye.
Right.
Opposed? Item 21, approve budget amendments. Okay. No budget amendments. Item 22, sign pay orders and approve.
There's one thing we need to put on here, two items that we had to change, so that the bills you approved, we have to re-sign, or the two to change. House and Bass for $856, that's being paid out of the blue construction, out of General County, so that's one change. The other change was there was a $1,657 payment to the West Group law library, and that needs to be paid out of the law library. So those are two changes.
Those just came in late, is that what you're saying?
We just told the issue that the code wrong to be paid.
Oh, okay.
Need to be paid out of the fund.
Okay.
So we had to reprint those, you had to re-sign them. They'll pay the bill. What else to be paid?
Okay. Motion by Commissioner Parker to go ahead and pay these current bills. Second by Commissioner Hinton. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Item 23, closing comments, if any. The only closing comment I've got, reminder to you that we've got a meeting, special meeting, 10 o'clock this Thursday. That'll be an executive session for a meeting for an update with counsel. Bob Bass with Allison Bass will be on a conference call with us. That'll be at 10 a.m. on Thursday. That's all I've got. Commissioner Parker?
I don't have anything to judge other than county-wide cleanup started today, and we've got most of our trash bins out, I think, or we've got ours anyway, all except for one. I'm putting two at County Road 1000, FM 1000 and Highway 49, and then there will be two at Courtroom.
What are the limitations again on what they can dump in there? Anything except tires, oil, paint?
Anything except tires, oil, paint,
Batteries.
Okay. Appliances are okay?
We usually just.
Supposed to have the compressor removed from them,
Okay.
but
All
it
right.
don't always happen as well.
Do they have to get it up into the dumpster? You would appreciate it if they do?
We would prefer that, but it don't always happen.
Sometimes it don't happen that way.
No old cars, junk cars? Okay.
We did have a boat here a few years back. One of ours, it was a fiberglass boat that was sitting out on the side of it.
Okay.
We had to bust up and try to get in there.
Okay. Commissioner Hinton?
I have nothing to
Okay. Commissioner Fields?
The only thing I have is this time last week, I think we were all in this same boat when they talked about the rain that we might possibly get, and you could just see all that just going down the creek, and we were blessed. We got a rain Tuesday, we got it Wednesday, we got it Thursday. Had it all that week at one time, we'd had major problems right now.
Did you collect any more debris clogs with this round than you already had?
Basically, what we got is the same thing we had before.
Okay.
So there's not a major, it just didn't, we had I had 3 roads underwater, and I'm sure the others, they're normal roads that always flood. But the debris and stuff I looked at last week is the same as it was before. And we're starting today. We're going around, and we've got it in the paper, but anybody interested, they will call your office. But I know Dennis Cameron has called, and he's going to be going around. He'll be going to each commissioner to see if they have debris on the bridges to clean up. And
Yeah, that's important. That ran on Saturday. It'll run again tomorrow, I believe, and I've asked for them to have some numbers, I believe, by the end of the week so that we can award that next week and get started on that cleanup, which FEMA has encouraged us to do as quickly as possible.
You do know that one of those bridges that Fields had a picture of showing to the FEMA guys, we had already cleaned that up, Precinct 1 had. That bridge wasn't there with all those logs in front of it. I mean, those logs were gone. We cleaned them up. They were gone, so
Good,
they
good.
don't have to do that one.
So in order for them to give us a bid, they're going to actually need to view these sites?
If you got an area, it's always a north side. We do have one bridge there, some small or logs and stuff on the lower side hung up on fences. But they will be coming by viewing it and they'll give a total bid. It'll be a precinct. But
Do you want them to bid by precinct?
No, sir. It'll be a whole package, but
Okay.
FEMA needs to know how much work, how many bridges here in this precinct, this precinct, but it'll be a total.
Are you
package.
going to have time to drive Dennis around to all those sites or whoever else? Well, I would encourage you, if you know other people in this business, the odds of them having seen that ad, the odds of them seeing that ad in the paper, they may not all see that ad. So if you know somebody else that you would like to provide a bid on this cleanup work, let them know about it. And
Well, another thing, just they'll have to have the proper certificates, insurance and all that too.
they need to have liability and workers' comp. They do not need to be bonded after talking to FEMA, but they do need to have the basic work comp and liability insurance in place. So be sure you're dealing with somebody that's large enough to have that. And boy, if you could take 2 or 3 of these guys around at the same time, otherwise you're going to eat up your whole day driving them around to various sites. But we need for them to provide that bid work here quickly. Anything else?
That's all I have.
Commissioner Riddle? All right, thank you everyone for your attendance today. With a motion, we will adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Hinton and seconded by Commissioner Fields. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.